I have became my own verbal abuser. Oh my God, y'all. What's up, guys? I am here with another video, ready to share with you, ready to encourage you. Listen, I'm your sister, I'm your friend, I'm your cousin, I'm whatever you need me to be, so that we can go ahead and get you encouraged to make sure that this upcoming year and the rest of this year that you are healing, you are happy, and you are whole. Listen, we are striving for a new us, a better us, and bettering ourselves. Listen, and we're going to get into it. Today is going to be a little different. Listen, we're going to dive deep. I mean, deep in that thing. You hear me? We're going to get deep and personal. So I wanted to share this with you. And this is kind of going to be like a therapy talk. I just want to come to you and just really talk to you, dig into some stuff that I realized about myself on this week. And I wanted to share with you because it was like, wow, if I felt like that, imagine how many other people felt like that. And I could not wait to share this with you. So I began to talk to my therapist. I do go to therapy, guys, because I do believe in talking to somebody. Sometimes you just need a listening ear. Not saying that you don't have people around you that listen, but sometimes it's really good to be talking to someone that you don't know, that's outside of your family. Sometimes that voice, sometimes that listening ear really helps. So I do go to therapy to make sure I'm doing a maintenance check on myself so that I'm always producing the best me that I can possible. So this therapy session was a little different. I started to tell her some things that I've been feeling. Like, I feel like a failure. I feel like I'm not good enough. I feel like I'm not this and I'm not that. And she began to ask me, she was like, where is that coming from? And I didn't understand what she was saying. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's coming from me. It's coming from me. I feel that way. This is how I'm waking up every day feeling. So she began to tell me, those messages, what is the root of those messages? And I didn't understand what she meant until I started to break down more about how I felt to her and how I was my biggest critic. And I was doing so much beating myself up rather than loving on myself. And she began to, just listen, and she wasn't saying anything. And the more I began to talk, at the end of my sentence, I said, I have became my own verbal abuser. Oh my God, y'all. It hit me so hard in my chest. I started crying because I was like, now I see what you're talking about. I just basically, with pouring out my heart to you, I just basically gave the solution to my problem of why I feel this way. And let me catch you up so you can understand. My therapist began to tell me that there are messages that were spoken over you, whether it was childhood or your adulthood life. Somewhere in your life, there was messages that were spoke to you, and those messages have now embedded themselves in your heart and your spirit and your mind, and they have become you. You have become the messages and the labels that people have saw you as. And even if they were bad messages, you have ate those and you have allowed it to, you have digested it into your spirit, and you have allowed it to sit there and stay there. So now, instead of looking at yourself in a positive way, you look at yourself as the messages that was spoken over your life. So I began to be like, oh my God, now I see exactly what you're talking about. I have encountered some abusive relationships in my life, and I just remember when sometimes in that relationship, he would say, you're not good enough, or you're not pretty enough, or you need to do it this way or that way. So now that I'm out of that relationship, sometimes that's still in my mindset because that message was given to me about myself, and it was you're not good enough. So sometimes now I repeat it to my own self because that's what was taught to me, that I'm not good enough. And some of you have been taught messages about yourself by your family members, by, people who have left you, or even past relationships or abusive relationships have spoke unhealthy messages to yourself. Listen, I was watching TD Jakes yesterday morning, and he said this, and it went so well with what I wanted to tell you guys today. And y'all know what I always say, I keep my binder, I keep my book, because I don't want to forget nothing. I tell y'all this all the time, so y'all already know why I'm looking down. But TD Jakes said, how you see yourself matters. It's hard to convince people of something you don't believe because of the voices of your history that is tearing down your destiny. Listen, I can't tell somebody else something and want them to believe it when I can't even believe it for myself, because I'm too busy with the voices of my history, the voices of my past, the voices of ex-relationships, voices of past family members that have spoke stuff into my spirit, and now it's tearing me down on the inside, and it's keeping me stagnant, and it's changing my mind frame. It's changing how I view myself. It's changing how I view the world because I have accepted these messages. Listen, I'm telling you, this right here was so powerful to me because, listen, we have to identify that they were unhealthy messages. That's the first step. Once we identify it, then we can realize the damage it did to us. You can realize that message damaged me. You got to realize and recognize that way of thinking when you are thinking like, I'm not good enough, I'm a failure, I'm never going to amount to anything. You got to start thinking, okay, why am I thinking this way? Why am I thinking of this unhealthy way of thinking? Why do I view myself like that? Why do I put those labels on myself when I know I am going to be greater? I am going to amount to something. I am going to be an overcomer. You have to replace those messages about yourself that was instilled in you with messages that you know are true. Listen, at that moment when you begin to think that, you got to learn how to change your thoughts. We have to learn how to change our thoughts. I just recently put a video about redirecting our mindset, so I'm not going to get into our thoughts, but you got to get to a place where you redirect your thoughts and you believe the new messages about yourself. You believe, okay, yes, I did accomplish a lot in life. Okay, look over your life and see where you came from and begin to create new messages about yourself. Not what somebody told you, not what somebody felt about you or labeled you, but what you see yourself and how you know God sees you. So listen, that has been a vital point for me because now I'm at the point where I'm reevaluating everything that was said to me. I'll never forget a family member told me that I'll be pregnant by the age of 14. And they did not understand that I was going through some things. I was just experiencing some things that I couldn't talk to anybody about. So it's like you put this label on me, but you never found the root of my issue. You never stopped to talk to me. You never stopped to say, hey, what's really going on? Hey, do you need a helping hand? So they labeled me, and I took my whole life making sure that I didn't amount to what they said, to the point that sometimes if I was unhappy to the point that I was unhappy trying to make sure that I proved people wrong, that what you said about me was not going to be true. But let me tell you about the self-damage that did. It did so much self-damage because I was always so hard on myself. If I didn't get something right, if I failed at something, I left no room for a mistake. I felt like I had to be perfect in everything I did, in everything I do. I felt like I needed to be perfect because I did not want to amount to what they said. But listen, I want to tell you, I had to get free from trying to seek validation from others. I don't need to prove you wrong. All I need to do is live my life. All I need to do is be the person that I truly want to be. I don't have to spend every day with you at the back of my mind, the words you said, the messages. I don't have to do that. But I need to press forward and be who God wants me to be. So that was big for me. And even though I never got pregnant at 14, I never, they told me that I wouldn't be able to be like successful in life and things like that. All of those words that were spoken to me, even as a child, my mom would always pray over me. She would always speak positive things. But I cared so much about what other people thought that my mom would always be like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what they said to you. It doesn't matter what they're saying. You know who you are. And she used to speak that positivity to me, but the voices of others always outweighed because it beat me down so bad. So let me tell you, sometimes you have to catch yourself when you start to speak those things to yourself. When you start to speak those messages to yourself, you have to learn how to get into a place where you say, no, that's not me. That's not who I am. And that's what I began to declare over myself. Every time I felt the message of the past come up to me, I would come back and I would say, no, that's not me anymore. No, I'm not that girl. We're not going to self-destruct, but I'm going to press forward. I'm going to build myself up because I know me best. The person that said that, they didn't know me. They didn't know me, obviously. Obviously, they did not know you. Let me tell you how they didn't know you. Because you is that girl, okay? You is that girl and you is that man if you a man. You that person. Don't play with you, okay? So listen, I had to learn that your value does not decrease because some other people can't see that you're a diamond. Listen, don't allow other people to mishandle you and cause you to look at yourself differently. Because it is a true statement. Misery loves company. If people are miserable, they will love to see you miserable. So listen, this is what I had to start doing instead. Just looking at myself differently, looking at myself and encouraging myself, speaking positive things to myself, cleansing myself and trying to detox all of those negative messages and filling them with the word of God, and also praying, God, how do you see me? How do you see me? Who am I to you? What do you see me as? What is the great things about myself that I need to see that I'm missing? And God, pour that into my spirit so that I can start to believe those things about me, so I can view me as you view me. So that is what I begin to do, and that has helped. Let me tell you, those messages that people have spoken over your life, it will allow you to see the world differently. You won't be able to see it correctly. I'm going to tell you why. Because if they have spoke messages and now say you're in an abusive relationship, that may come with fear. So now you fear everything and you look at the world as, I'm not safe, I'm not this, somebody's gonna harm me, somebody's gonna always hurt me. And those are messages. You have to identify when the root of it is a message that was given to you by your history. It was not the message that you need to carry for the rest of your life. It is not who you are. So let me tell you, you have to also work towards processing that you're not in that place anymore. A lot of times we move out of positions, but we carry the baggage with us. And what I mean by that is what we went through could be way back there. And we can be in a new position in life, doing better, but that message is going to follow us. And what we're going to do is we're going to continue to carry it throughout life and never realize that, hey, we're not there anymore. Sometimes, yes, we will move out of the situation, but our heart doesn't move. Our mindset doesn't move. So you're stuck and you're repeating those things because you are stuck in a place of thinking that this is who I am because that's what they spoke over me. But I'm telling you today, snatch those labels off. Take those messages off of yourself and realize who you are. You are. Write down. I even write down new things that you've learned about yourself. Write down, I'm an overcomer. Write down, I'm pretty. I'm gorgeous. Does not matter what size I am, does not matter what complexion I am. It took me so long to accept that I was even dark skinned, because even no, that did not come from being bullied at school. It came from a close family member who told me that I wasn't pretty enough. I wasn't pretty enough, and you will be prettier if you look like this. But I had to remove that message, because now when I got in the mirror, I wasn't as confident as I should have been, because that message was always in the back of my mind. But I had to snatch that out, and I had to fill it with, you are beautiful. You are pretty. You are enough. And you, listen, people will give you messages about yourself, but when you look at their life isn't amounting to even half of what it should be for them to even tell you something like that. Consider their happiness. Before you believe a message about yourself that's not true, consider their happiness. Are you telling me that because that is how you really see yourself? And you want me to see myself that way? No, we're not doing that. So I realized that we have to stop taking on being our own verbal abusers. We are verbally abusing ourselves with words. We are tearing ourselves down. We are losing our confidence. We are losing our joy. We are losing our self-esteem, because we have became our own verbal abuser. We are beating our own self down. We are narcissistic to ourselves. We are hindering ourselves because we keep on speaking things that our abuser spoke to us. So now we have became the abuser to ourselves. Somebody abused you verbally or physically or emotionally somewhere in your life, and now you have took on that role and been that to yourself. Free yourself from that. Free yourself from that, and understand that no, build yourself up. Take time to find confidence in yourself. Take time to see yourself as God sees you. I love you. And I pray that you get to see yourself better, because you are enough. You are beautiful. You are more than you ever see yourself. And I can't wait until you believe it.